Straight ahead, SGA saves OKC. Or did the Pacers choke? And one of the worst beats you'll ever see in an NBA game. And Kobe, not LeBron, the first to say, I'm taking my talents. And the English language needs a couple new words added. All that and much more coming up. I'm Doug Kezirian, and this is Hard Pass. Tyrese Halliburton once gave the choke sign to the Madison Square Garden crowd, and he and the Pacers might have choked away a chance at an NBA title in Game 4 at home with a 3-1 series lead within their grasps. It's not really hyperbole. You go up 3-1, 37 of the 38 teams that have done that in the NBA Finals have, in fact, hoisted the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Instead of being favored with a 3-1 lead, it's now 2-2, and the Thunder are back to being sizable favorites. Indy had this one in their fingertips, up 10 in the second half. More importantly, late fourth quarter, they led 103-99, up 4 with 3:20 to go. But then they only scored, get this, 1 more point. That's it. How does that happen? 1 point in the final 3:20, squandering a golden opportunity, and SGA with the big go-ahead bucket, 2:21 left, may have pushed off Aaron Nesmith. Instead, the Oklahoma City Thunder close on a 12-1 run and somehow rally from a double-digit deficit in the second half, despite shooting 3 for 16 from downtown in the entire game. Yes, only 3 made three-pointers from the entire OKC squad. So the question is, and let us know, did the Thunder rally for an impressive win, a galvanizing win, or did the Pacers choke? I think that's the big question. Did this Pacers team, the underdog Indiana Pacers, choke, or did SGA, the league MVP, carry his team down the stretch and make all the plays? He scored 15 of his game-high 35 in the fourth quarter. He was the difference, but did the Pacers choke? I want to hear from you. I don't think they choked, but they definitely didn't execute anywhere close to what they did the first 3.5 quarters. They had this game won, and Rick Carlisle had it, and they missed opportunities left and right. And sometimes you just don't execute. But yeah, there were a few choke-ish plays, I will certainly say. It was also an absurd cover if you laid the 6 points with OKC. Now, the Thunder were trailing nearly the entire game, trailing at halftime, definitely trailing in the second half. And then, like I said, the Pacers had the lead. So not only did the Thunder come back and win when they were moneyline underdogs with about a few minutes to go, they cover 6 points and win by 7 down the stretch. So the 12-1 run to close it, but you get 2 foul calls, separate instances. You get each a foul when the ball's out of bounds, so you get an automatic technical free throw. On top of that, Benedict Mathurin, the hero of Game 3, missed 3 straight free throws that would have cut the deficit to something reasonable where you could have played the foul game. Instead, SGA makes free throws. By the way, he had 7 free throws in the final minute or so, and he lands 35 points. His over-under was 34.5. So a bad beat on the under 34.5. Bad beat if you had OKC plus 6 or even 6.5. Gross that the Pacers could not cover that. And if you had the Thunder minus 6, it was a bad bet for the entire game until it wasn't. So the question for you is, and I said this going into this game, whoever wins Game 4 is going to win the series, right? And he goes up 3-1. They're the favorite. If not, it's 2-2, and OKC has home court advantage stolen back. Who wins the series? Thunder now minus 550 favorite. So it's 1 to 5.5. You have to risk $55 to win 10. And then Indiana still a 4-1 underdog. Let's check out some heat check, which is what social media and some other platforms are saying about these NBA finals. Brick Center, Scott Foster just watching SGA push off Nesmith and give the go-ahead bucket, a.k.a. the extender. A lot of people nicknamed him that, thinking the NBA, the conspiracy theories, the league wants the series extended, more television revenue, more drama. Full court pass. Scott Foster did his job. Thunder and Pacers tied 2-2. I'm not a big believer in conspiracy theories. For every one that could fit, there's like 10 that don't. I mean, yeah, there were some NBA draft lotteries that are questionable, but how many times were there superstars who did not go to big markets? Do you think the league really wanted Tim Duncan to go to San Antonio or Kevin Durant to go to Seattle? Maybe they did, but how about Greg Oden, the number 1 pick to Portland? I think when Boston could have had one of those guys. The hater report, this is my favorite. This is a very popular meme when Roy Williams, a former North Carolina coach, goes dancing with all his players. Scott Foster walking into the OKC Thunder locker room after dominating the fourth quarter against the Pacers. And that had video as well. So very good tongue-in-cheek moments across the heat check, but the Pacers have only themselves to blame. They allowed OKC to close the game on a 12-1 run. That should not happen at all. Don't blame Scott Foster. You need to execute, especially at home. You had to seize the moment. It's not about waiting to the end of the series. You're not trying to just hang around in the series. You had a 2-1 lead. You could have gone up 3-1 on your home court. You had the lead in the fourth quarter, and you just didn't execute. And it's going to haunt them for years, decades, unless they manage to still pull this out. It's a 2-2 series. You got to win another game on the OKC home court where they've been dominant, and they've been struggling on the road, and you had them on the ropes. But it's not Scott Foster's fault, in my opinion. Betting 101, and boy, did we have some drama in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. And the OKC Thunder do cover for the first time this entire postseason as a road favorite. They were 0-8 on the road in this postseason. Now they're 1-8 against the spread. 0-8 ATS, that is. Now they're 5-4 overall. They're favored in all those games. They only covered for the first time because of some garbage at the end where the Pacers couldn't make a free throw and didn't do much else. And not only did the Pacers lose the game, but they didn't even cover 6.5 points. As for my plays, we were not going to go undefeated in the history of the show. That happens. So we had winners out of the gates for games 2 and 3, another prop game 4. Now, Benedict Mathurin, we needed over 10.5 points. He had 8 and then missed 3 free throws down the stretch. Could have used those to land 11 in cash. Instead, we are 2-1 in the 3 props we've given out. Very painful because Mathurin was right there. Obviously, had the 27-point performance in Game 3. We didn't need 27. We just needed 11. And he missed 3 key free throws at the end. Game 5, we turned the page. What's your favorite play? Let me know in the comments section. Your favorite Game 5 pick. Could be side, which is the point spread, or the over-under, or the total, right? Or a prop bet. I've done props for the first 3 games of this show's duration, which is games 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go another prop in Game 5, and I've been betting Holmgren under for his rebounds, but I like over 8.5. Why do I like that all of a sudden? Not because he went for 15 in Game 4. It's because Mark Daigneault changed his starting lineup. He went back to the one he's been using this entire postseason, and he went with the double big lineup, Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. I did not see that coming. Hartenstein had not started games 1 through 3. He did get the start, and what that does is that frees up Holmgren to man the paint a little bit more rather than having to go guard Miles Turner when Turner's on offense, lurking around the three-point line. It pulls Holmgren away from the rim. So now you get Holmgren around the rim in the paint because Hartenstein's guarding Turner. So the fact that Mark Daigneault went to the double big lineup is the key reason I think this should be closer to 10.5, to be honest. He played 37 minutes, which is a lot for him, but he was fresher because he didn't have to chase all those high pick and rolls and Turner and things like that. So I think Holmgren will get his rebounds. Over 8.5 seems really cheap. I like this one a lot. This is a fun segment where we as basketball fans certainly became fans along the way at some point, so we get to turn back the clock. And the day off in this year's finals between games 3 and 4 was June 12th. And June 12th is an important anniversary for Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle. He was the Mavs head coach in 2011. That's when he won the championship, an improbable title when the Dallas Mavericks took down LeBron James in the Miami Heat, the first year of the Heatles. And that was after the decision. Remember, summer of 2010, major news. We all kind of remember where we were. I remember John Barry in that great one-liner about the Beeks report, referencing trading places. But LeBron and the decision was inexcusable. Yes, he allegedly raised money for charity, but just lacked any sort of touch with the Cavalier fan base, was unable to read the room, and really drove a knife in their heart and twisted it. Let us know in the comments section. What did you think of the decision at the time, and what did you think of it now? One thing that's always worth mentioning, and people forget, because at the time, I'm taking my talents was a viral phrase, if you will. But he was not the first one to utter those words. Kobe Bryant was. When Kobe announced that he was going straight from high school to college, the NBA, he was the one that said, I'm taking my talents. Let's go back to his announcement at Lower Merion High School.
Kobe Bryant have decided to take my talents to No, I have decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA.
Now, it wasn't a national audience where news organizations were covering it, but Kobe was the first to say, I'm taking my talents. It doesn't make it right for LeBron, but I remember when I was working at ESPN, I was wearing a red checkered shirt like that. And this was, I don't know, 6 years after the decision. John Anderson, hilarious SportsCenter anchor, made a reference to the LeBron shirt from the decision. I didn't even think twice about it, but it certainly, everyone got the joke at the time because it definitely triggered memories of LeBron when he was one-on-one, the tight shot with Jim Gray. The decision was a bad idea. Read the room. He was out of touch with the Cleveland fan base, and then we saw the burned jerseys and everything after that. But we all make mistakes. Not the end of the world. I supported the decision to go to Miami. I don't think he was running away from competition and comparing to Jordan, Bird, Magic. Well, those front offices surrounded their stars with talent, had Hall of Famers around them. At the time, the Cavs were unwilling to part with J.J. Hickson, reportedly, to get Amari Stoudemire. Mo Williams was made out to be the best thing since Clyde Drexler, the way everyone celebrated. He was lugging teams, a supporting cast that weren't really all that supportive, to the finals. He gave the front office a chance to go surround him with talent, and they did it. So I fully trust, or I fully understand why he had to go elsewhere, because the Cavs front office dropped the ball. They did not surround him by the right supporting cast. And maybe, I think he came back and obviously won the title, but that, I always defended him, and I still do to this point. The Cavs had every opportunity, but they botched it. And when you get drafted to a team, you only are obligated for that contract. He fulfilled his contract obligations. He was able to go elsewhere. We've all pursued career interests outside of our first job, or whatever you want to call it. We're allowed, once a contract expires, or to pursue employment elsewhere, and he did that. Jordan was surrounded by great players. If it wasn't Ho Grant, it was Rodman. Before that, Pippen, Magic, got drafted to a team with Kareem, and they added pieces, right? They went and got Byron Scott, flipped Norm Nixon, and they made the right pieces around him. Same with the Celtics. Larry Bird went to a team, and they also flipped the pick for McHale and Parrish. So they built those teams. They didn't have to go anywhere. LeBron had to, after Cleveland demonstrated that they were unable to support him with the right supporting cast to win a title. Now, he came back and did this old LeBron GM stuff, and he delivered a title to Cleveland. Now, going back to the 2011 finals, Game 2 was pivotal. Game 1, Miami won at home. Game 2, they were up 15 with 7:14 to go. And then Dallas closed on a 22-5 run. Dirk with the game-winning layup with 4 seconds to go.
The layup banks it in with 3.6 remaining. Back to Wade. Wade puts it up for the win. Off the mark, and Dallas has tied the finals with one of the most incredible comebacks in NBA Finals history.
And even with this series and blowing Game 2, the Miami Heat still led 2-1 in this finals, and albeit on the road for Game 4. Now, before Game 4, there were reports of Dirk being sick, and there was footage of LeBron and Wade mocking him in the tunnel because the reports had surfaced and things like that. Now, LeBron was 26, Wade was 29, still shouldn't have done it, but whatever. Things happen. But later in that series, Dirk was asked about that when the footage surfaced, and he had this response in between games for podium.
Think of the video of Wade and LeBron coughing. Dwayne said that that was a real cough, by the way.
Well, I just thought it was a little childish, a little ignorant. You know, I've been in this league for 13 years. I never faked an injury or an illness before. But you know, that's just it happened. It's over to me. It's not going to add anything extra to me. This is the NBA Finals. If you need an extra motivation, you have a problem.
Game 4 is the biggest question mark, and that, to me, is the biggest black eye and blemish on LeBron's career. Game 4, in the NBA Finals, you're down 2-1, and you score 8 points. You lose by 3. You shot 1 attempt in the fourth quarter while being guarded by guys like J.J. Barea and Jason Terry. Not the entire time, but enough. It's baffling. Now, he was the villain because of the decision, and he was uncomfortable with that. Derrick Rose won MVP. LeBron, I think, hadn't figured it out. Now, he and Wade hadn't figured it out, but Wade and Bosh went off. Wade had 32, Bosh had 24. Dirk was under the weather, had 21, 6 of 19 shooting. But LeBron, that's inexcusable, and even his biggest apologist can't defend that. Let us know. Let me know your thoughts. How can LeBron fans or diehards explain that Game 4 performance? Because after that, the Mavs went up 3-1, and the Heat could have tied the series 2-2 and regained home court advantage, but they did not. Inexcusable. It's baffling to this day. That was peak LeBron, or on the cusp of peak LeBron. I know he and Wade hadn't figured it out quite yet, but they kind of did. Remember the second half of the year, they were on a run. They should have won those finals. They should have won that game, but they did not because LeBron dropped the ball. Jordan never did it, and that's inexcusable. I've always defended LeBron for a variety of reasons. I think he gets too much criticism. I think he's still a great player. Maybe the greatest, who knows? There's something to be said about being the league's all-time leading scorer. But that's inexcusable. That's on him, no one else. This segment is just what it sounds like. I get to rant, which I like to do behind closed doors sometimes. I'm a little bit more corporate, forward-facing, but I do have strong opinions about a variety of things, sometimes not sports-related. And this one just bothers me, and it's an attack, I guess, about the English language. I just got back from 2 weeks of travel, and I swung by and visited my nieces and nephew. I'm sick of saying my nieces and nephew. Why don't we have a term that groups them? Let's take a step back. We have grandchildren and grandparents. Why don't we have a grouping for aunts and uncles and nieces and nephew? If I'm going to see my aunt and uncle, I don't want to say my aunt and uncle. I want to say whatever, right? My lineage or something like that. So now the flip side is you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. Unfortunately, I'm still part of the problem because I'm just complaining about it. I don't have a suggestion, but let us know your thoughts. Does this bother you as much as it bothers me? Because I have 5 nieces and 1 nephew, so I can't just say, oh, my nieces. I have to say my nieces and nephew, and that's not efficient. Grandparents don't say that. I'm going to go see my grandchildren. I have a grandson. That's fine. Singular is fine. Singular, I get. It bothers me that we don't have a grouping term for this. Why not? So just wanted to throw it out there. Maybe someone can uncover it and we can expand the English language together. But yes, it bothers me. I say it often. It's a tedious, it's verbose and it's annoying and tedious. So why can't we have something that groups this all together? Do other languages have that? The plural sort of grouping of whether it's aunts and uncles and or nephew and niece. Like, do other languages have that? Why doesn't the English language have that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Or am I just being ridiculous and yelling, get off my lawn kind of thing? Or yelling at the cloud. I think it'd be more, yelling at the cloud thing, just picking, pulling threads that don't need to be pulled. But that's how I roll. Time now for some fans in the stands, and that's when we address the comments section on this YouTube network. And you are the fans in the stands. Join the conversation. We want to hear from you, and we respond to everything when we can. We have some long posts, and we have some brief ones. Get Goldie had one. I love the new show. All you do is serve up winners. Another winning pick in Game 3. Thanks, Dougie Fresh Picks. Now, we had a loss in Game 4. I complained about Matherin's missed free throws. It happens. That's part of betting. But hopefully we'll get back on track in Game 5 as the series shifts to OKC. We appreciate it very much. Petey says, glad to have this channel, and I hope it succeeds. I appreciate your discussion of the Angel Reese scenario. It's an interesting topic because of sports, misogyny, racism, fandom, social media, etc. It really is, and I encourage everyone to go check it out. It's about 8 minutes. I've been a big fan of the WNBA for several years. I think what's going on right now with Angel Reese is kind of out of hand and kind of bizarre in a lot of ways. So it kind of reminded me of the butt fumble with Mark Sanchez. He was a starting quarterback in the NFL, went to the AFC title game, top 5 pick, and he was just being known for one thing, and that was the butt fumble. And Angel Reese is all these missed layups thing, but she's still an all-star. She's only 23, so that was in episode 3. So encourage everyone to go check it out. And of course, Petey, we appreciate your input very much so. And Paul Sampagnaro, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Great show, since you asked. More WNBA and please more Arthur. Love that you touch on different topics. A unique show for sure. And what do you know? Look who it is. You ask and ye shall receive. More Arthur, you get more Arthur. We'll have some segments, maybe an underdog pick of the week or pick of the day, kind of like we did over at ESPN. That was Arthur's time to shine, and we know he's not afraid of the camera. He loves the camera. So this is where he's always available, always ready to come out of his trailer and join the party, join us on set. But we appreciate everyone. Please join in on the conversation. What we like to say, your likes, dislikes of the show, what topics, specific questions. I'd be happy to answer them on air. We also will interact as well in the comments section. But that's going to do it for this episode. Our next one is right after Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It's now a best of 3. We're guaranteed a Game 7, and it's a best of 3. The Thunder do what they did against Denver. Win Game 4 on the road, when trailing 2-1. And now the series is 2-2. OKC now a big favorite. And after a gross cover with the Thunder minus 6.5, we'll see if the Pacers can pick themselves off the mat and get another win in OKC, because they're going to need at least one more in order to win the championship. They had a chance to go up 3-1, but the Thunder do it again, and we'll see you back here after Game 5.